Let's start with some breaking news that's coming in. In fact, the finance minister has spoken out as far as the auto industry slowdown is concerned. The finance minister has said that it is due to the changing mindset of millennials. She stated that millennials prefer Ola and Uber. This was in response to Mirna's question to the FM specifically about the auto sector slowdown. She went on to say that millennials don't want to commit to EMIs and prefer using other alternatives such as Ola, Uber and the metro. Listen in.
How long is the sluggishness in the automobile sector projected to continue? We spoke to certain dealers and they claim that the government itself is taking 28% as GST and 17% as cess. And if there could be any cut in that, it could actually promote the customers to buy more vehicles.
That is a very fine argument to give. I agree. But it's also the truth, and I'm not negating anything that you're saying. It's also a truth that automobile industry in India did have its good times at least 1.5 years ago, till 1.5 years ago, till let us say 2 years ago. There was definitely a good upward trajectory for the automobile sector. Now that is why I periodically remind that the automobile sector in particular and the components together have been affected by several things, inclusive of the BS6 movement, inclusive of that registration fee related matter, which we have deferred till June, inclusive of the mindset. Some studies do tell us the mindsets of the millennials who are now preferring not to commit an EMI towards buying an automobile, instead would prefer to have Ola and Uber and everything else, or take the metro. So a whole lot of factors are influencing the automobile sector. We are all seized of the problem. We try to solve it for them.
Let's in fact go across to Pramod Madhav, who in fact asked Finance Minister that question and was present at the press conference. Pramod, first off, if you can help us understand, we heard of course what the Finance Minister had to say. Essentially, she's attributing one of the main reasons for this slowdown is the changing mindset of the millennials. If you can just take us through what she said.
Well, this is what the finance minister has given us as an explanation, because like exactly saw, we had like 3 questions for her. The first one is that the slumber and sluggishness, like as we spoke to many people from the automobile sector, and in Tamil Nadu, it actually has a very important kind of like effect, because Tamil Nadu, as you might know, plays a very important role in the actually development of like in the automobile sector itself. And she said that she is actually agreeing that such a kind of slumber is occurring, but at the same time, the dealers and many other people who are actually associated with the automobile sector also gave us this information that if they sell a car, 28% goes as GST and 17% of that goes as cess, which means almost 45% is nothing but tax alone. And the dealers and other people associated with the automobile industry claim that if the government is actually ready to reduce any of these taxes, that will actually play a very important role in giving some kind of affirmation to the customer to go ahead and buy it. But at the same time, this but Nirmala Sitharaman has gone ahead and said the usage of Ola, Uber and metro is also playing a very important fact in people not going ready to buy the automobiles. But when we put these questions to the dealers and things like that, they mention that the actual customers are afraid because of 2 factors. That factor we also put forward as a question to Nirmala Sitharaman. The first factor is about the job security, and the second factor is that they are completely worried about various norms. The first one being that BS4 vehicles, you cannot actually register it after March of 2020, and they don't want to go ahead for those vehicles. And these things are very important because these are the ones that actually create a lot of fear. When we put forward this main question about job security, Nirmala Sitharaman came forward and she said that the government is also ready, talking to various sectors to try and find out what could be an amicable solution. She also said between mid of August and September, she has come out with 2 announcements, and probably she will come with 1 or another 2 announcements, but not definitive in the coming days as well, to make sure. And she wants to instill confidence that people do not have to worry about job loss, which is kind of like would have been nice had the government had earlier itself decided to go ahead and give information like that. But however, in the state of Tamil Nadu, especially because of this slumber and sluggishness, definitely a large effect has been a lot of people are affected because of this automobile industry sluggishness.
Yes, absolutely, Pramod. In fact, if you can also take us through what else, the highlights of what else she said, and if she made any mention of any kind of a timeline as to when the next set of announcements will come in, and also as far as the impact of the current announcements that have already been made, what's the kind of impact that it's having? What did she have to say in response to all of this?
Well, between mid of August and September itself, she has made almost various announcements, of which two stand very very prominent. The first one being that the auditors or tax collectors will behave like a person who would go ahead and be very friendly with the people and try to collect tax and help them in actually paying their taxes. And the second one is about the merger of banks. She has once again said that they are only trying to ease out the kind of difficulty a bank would be facing because of they're unable to maintain the various accounts or giving loans or maintaining the balance, and those such banks have been merged with bigger banks, and that will actually ease the business. That's the kind of explanation she has given, though the bank sector employees have come forward and very clearly said this is not a thing that could have been done at this time where the economy is facing such a kind of crunch. The second one is that the major effect, as you could see in these recent terms, is about the automobile industry, and we want to make it very clear because as per our report, this sluggishness did not start just right now. It was already for 18 months. It was slowly in progress, and apparently the dealers and others claim that they have informed the concerned authorities, but no action was taken. So we just want to ask her, want to know whether does the government have any kind of projection as to when this sluggishness or this slumber could come to an end. And as per our reports, it will take a minimum of 18 months, the same time period for it to recover. But she has said that they are only analyzing the data, and they will immediately, once they get the information, she will let us know.
All right, Pramod, thanks so much for getting us all those details.